I know what's going to happen in the Champions League quarter-finals.
You seem to know everything, Theo, but the first game is Benfica against Inter Milan. Now, Benfica won 8 in a row and this weekend lost to Porto.
Yeah, I know they lost to Porto 2-1, but they've been on an incredible set of form. They've won 8 games in a row. Thogden, surely Benfica are going to make their cover from their mistakes and get a great home win going into the second leg.
Well, the thing about Benfica in this tournament, Theo, only lost 3 home games of the last 25. They are very much a home team, but having said that, they tend to bottle things in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Gonzalo Ramos was unlucky to get that disallowed goal against Porto, but he's been on great form. I mean, do you see him being a Benfica player after this summer?
Well, I'll tell you what, there is a lot of interest in him. I'd love to see him come to the Premiership, but he's not the only guy on form. João Mario has scored in his last 5 games. Now, I know 4 of those were penalties, but Cristiano scored in 11 games in a row.
Rafa Silva too. It's a bit of a dream team here at Benfica. Surely this will not be the end of the route. They need to get an advantage in this leg, going back to Italy for the second. I think they've got to win this. It's a must-win.
It is a must-win, Theo. Inter Milan, good at grinding out results. Not had a brilliant season, have they?
No.
But they'll be looking to come here and keep it tight. Maybe a 0-0 draw.
What's weird about Inter is their form is disgustingly poor.
Yes.
And you wonder what the problem is. I see a lot of Inter fans online openly want Antonio Conte. So how trustworthy would they be in Inzaghi? Do you think Inzaghi's the manager to take that club forward, Thogden?
Well, it's a funny one. They haven't won in the last 6 games, but they've got a little bit of history in this tournament. They won this tournament in 2010. There's a bit of history here.
But is Inzaghi going to take them forward, Thogden?
I don't know, Theo. I think this could be a very tough, very tight game. I'm going to go straight to my prediction. 1-0 to Benfica.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that Inzaghi's clearly fallen out with Lukaku, and he's blamed the bad form on Rom. He said that Romelu's missing his chances, and as much as he is doing that, I think there's a clear problem within that dressing room, proven simply because they are outing the players. If you're saying in an interview, my striker should have been scoring more goals, then clearly there's a problem in the dressing room. My prediction, therefore, is a Benfica win. 2-1. I think they're going to be fired up inside of them after that loss to Porto. And I just think they're going to be favoured in this leg. It's going to be very interesting in Italy to see if Inter can change their form rounds, but it's very hard to predict them if they're drawing to Salernitana and they're not getting wins at the moment. They've gone 6 now away from home without a win, so I don't think that's going to change for Inter. We've both gone for Portuguese club wins. Let's go to the second game, shall we, Thogden?
Let's do it. Manchester City against Bayern Munich. This is all about the managers. Pep Guardiola, 7 years ago, used to be at Bayern Munich. Thomas Tuchel knows all about English football.
It does. Well, let's start with City. Incredible form recently, pushing Arsenal for the Premier League. In the Champions League, they're still favourites to win it, even though Napoli have got an amazing run to the final. What are the odds we see Bayern just getting cleared out here?
They could, couldn't they, Theo? I tell you what, Manchester City's home record in this tournament is astonishing. They've won 22 out of 24, drawn the other 2.
Yeah.
That's one of the best home records in the UCL by an English club.
I think you and me last year at this stage of the Champions League went to City against Real Madrid, where in the first leg, I think they edged it. But then in Bernabeu in the second leg, they got beaten. What are the odds of Man City getting another home leg win here and just helping them going to Germany before they fly over?
Well, I think this one is very important. Man City want to go out there and score 2 or 3 and get a really good home advantage. They've been superb recently. I think they've won the last 8 games and occasionally they're scoring 4, 5, 6, 7 goals, aren't they, Theo?
Who can you see shining in that City team? Who's the one that's going to step up tonight? Everyone knows about Pep Roulette, new players every single game. Will you see Haaland playing? You know, he's just come back from an injury. Was very good in their last match to score against Southampton. He was key in a 4-1 away win. Do you think he'll start?
Well, after what he did to Leipzig, Theo, he loves German opposition. And he loves playing against Bayern Munich as well, Theo. Back in the day for Borussia Dortmund, he always tended to score against them.
Well, Erling's got 33 goals in 25 Champions League games. It's an insane statistic. But Bayern Munich are not a team to mess about with. With Thomas Tuchel, you've got a manager who at Chelsea came in January and won it by May. Now, can he do something similar with Bayern Munich where they're the underrated team, the underdog? No one speaks about them, but could he take them and lead them to the Champions League final?
Well, I'll tell you what, they've got a brilliant squad, haven't they, Theo? But you look at the last 4 games, lost 2 and won 2. Of course, they beat Borussia Dortmund. They'll probably win the Bundesliga for an 11th time, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Man City team.
Well, they've got Gnabry, they've got Sané, Thomas Müller, Sadio Mane we're forgetting. Yeah. It's a very strong team. Do you think Tuchel's going to make the most of it? They just got knocked out because he's had his first hiccup. They got beat in the cup by Freiburg.
They did, and then they beat them in the league, Theo. Yeah. But you know what? They beat PSG in the last round. They're not a bad team, but I reckon City might just blow them away in the first leg.
I think this is going to be goal crazy. I'm going to get straight to my prediction. City 3, Bayern 1. I think both of them are going to open up. It's going to be a cracker. Haaland with a brace. The robots always answer your questions.
Well, you've seen my notes. I've gone for the exact same scoreline, 3-1. In fact, you know what, Theo? We're in Lancaster right now. Why don't we go to that game?
Yeah, maybe we will. Find out tonight on the channel. But let's go to the next game. What is it, Thogden? Because this game needs no introduction. You don't even need to speak about it, do you?
The next game is get us to 100,000 subscribers. That's the next game, Theo. We are about 400 subscribers away.
I'm pressing Thogden
it right wants a silver plaque. I'm going to nick it, though. AC Milan against Napoli. A lot of people are going to be saying that Napoli will stuff them. They're 22 points ahead of them in the league. But recently, these two played each other in the league. What was the scoreline, Theo?
4-0 at Naples to Milan. Nobody expected that. The first hiccup we've seen from the Napolitans. Do you think they're going to continue that and Milan are going to get another home win against them?
Well, I look at Napoli's last 8 away games, Theo, and in 7 of those they didn't concede. They've won those 8 games 19-1. So these are guys who are good on the road. But you look at Napoli's history, Theo, they've never been this far in the Champions League.
Yeah, they haven't, but they've got a completely different story of a team. Napoli historically always used to be leading the Serie A and find a way to bottle it. But this year they don't. Yeah. So the same story might happen in the Champions League. They've got the easiest possible run to a final. Everybody expects them to make it all the way now. But like I said, the first hurdle is AC Milan, and they're one of the best teams on form right now. Rafael Leao, Theo Hernandez, even the players that are turning up like Cellmakers. Did you see his goal against Napoli? He turned into Messi. Sail Messi.
Absolutely superb. Napoli 16 points clear in the league, but sometimes in Europe funny things happen. Now, I think Napoli will win this one narrowly. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory.
I think the mentality coming into this game will be low scoring after that 4-0. That's not going to run. It's Champions League first leg. All comes down to the second leg after that in the south of Italy. So I think the mentality will be both teams are a bit more cagey, a bit more defensive. I'm going to say they both nick a goal from somewhere, but we're not going to see the same Napoli defensive problems as we did at the Maradona Stadium. 1-1 draw. You've gone 1-0. No scoring either way. Let's see what happens.
Real Madrid against Chelsea. Real Madrid are the godfathers of this tournament. Nobody has won it as many times. And we saw in the last round, they smashed Liverpool, didn't they?
They did. And it's funny. How are Real Madrid turning it around? Everybody was going from Ancelotti out to all of a sudden, they're smashing Barcelona 4-0 away, Benzema hat-trick. They're smashing Liverpool out of the Champions League. They've got Chelsea now who are on bad form and they're probably going to win again. What's going on?
Well, I couldn't work it out this weekend. They lost to Villarreal, Theo. Real Madrid are a funny one. They're not going to win the Spanish league.
No, they've bottled La Liga. They've given up, really. They don't care. They're going to have full focus on Europe, and a lot of teams can't say that. City have got their eye on the Premier League. Bayern have got their eye on the German league. Napoli have done the Serie A, so they can fully focus on Champions League and rotate. But having that excess ability to rotate your squad and focus on Europe because the league is done is a special thing. And that's why I think Real Madrid could be favourites to win the Champions League again, especially with their history.
Never bet against Real Madrid. And they're playing a Chelsea team, Theo. Their preparation was losing to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
It was.
Frank Lampard is back in charge. No comment on that one, Theo. And this calendar year, only one away win. And that was against Leicester City. Not good preparation.
Yeah, not at all. How can you lose to Wolves? I mean, Frank Lampard needs to bring back his old fines. 5,000 if you're late to training.
Yeah, I agree with that, Theo.
He's got too many players and he needs to find his 11. How are you not playing Mason Mount, Lampard? That's your brother. That's your son.
That is true, Theo.
Do you think Mason Mount's got to start for Chelsea?
Well, Theo, I don't see what's happening on the training ground. Obviously, Mason Mount is out of form at the moment. He hasn't got the confidence. I love him as a player. He'll be back. We know that.
I'd love to see him back on the pitch playing to his best. And if anyone's going to do it, it's Frank Lampard. How does he line up this team to get a result against Real Madrid? Does he go defensive, 5 at the back and just hope to take it back to the bridge, low scoring? Or does he go full throttle and play the João Felix, the Mason Mounts, everybody, Mudryk, just go for it. You got to remember, Mudryk, the one team he turned up against at Shakhtar, probably gave him the Chelsea contract. It was when he did that against Real Madrid. He scored a screamer. He made these incredible runs down the left flank. He's already played against Carvajal and cooked him for breakfast. So do you reckon he'll do it again?
Well, you've already mentioned the player that Chelsea need to play tomorrow, Theo. Romelu Lukaku. Of course, it's not going to happen.
What?
And my point here, Theo, Chelsea have not scored a goal in about 5 hours of football.
They've got a boomerang.
What's a boomerang?
A Aubameyang.
Oh, Aubameyang, yes, thanks.
I can't believe you forgot about him.
Yeah, I did. I completely forgot about him. Romelu Lukaku, out on loan, cost 100 million quid. Give him one more chance. Anyway, that is for next season. I can't see Chelsea scoring. That's the problem. I like João Felix. Is he allowed to play in this game?
Yeah, he is. He played against Dortmund and should have scored about 1 million times, and then he did. Yeah. They got the job done at home, which was a good result. They scored 3 at home to Dortmund. Their focus will be Champions League with the Premier League being written off. But then you could say the same for Real Madrid with the La Liga done. I still think Ancelotti's team is too strong. I think when the players are focused and are determined in a certain match, they go and grab the result that they need because they've got so much quality. The league is done. Focus on Europe and the Cup. They battered Barca in the Cup because they knew they could win it. And I think with the Champions League up for grabs now, they're going to batter Chelsea at home 3-0, which will probably put the match out of sight going back to the bridge, won't it?
Yeah, I think that Real Madrid, over the 3 hours, will win this by a margin of 3 goals. But I reckon this game will be 2-0 to Real Madrid. Chelsea's defence ain't too bad.
No, it ain't too bad. But Thogden, that is the end of these predictions. We're off to City Bayern, so check out the main channel to enjoy it. Let's smash 5,000 likes, and hopefully we are over 100,000 subscribers on the second channel, because I want that plaque, and I'll show you guys when it arrives. See you all in a bit. Enjoy. The European footy is back.
Can't wait.